friends, welcome to EasyNess, where nursing education made easy. Today, we are going to discuss the important exam-oriented questions from post-BSc first year nutrition and dietetics. Be alert, guys. These questions will definitely come your next exam. So don't mix any updates. So let's start. What are the main important questions that may appear for your exam from nutrition and dietetics? So be ready. We are starting. So the first question we are going to discuss is nutritional problems in India. So what are the nutritional problems India is facing? That's maybe come for a 5 marks or a 10 mark question. So you need to know what are the nutritional problems India is facing. Let's discuss. So this protein energy malnutrition, PEM, protein energy malnutrition, nutritional anemia, iron deficiency disorder, vitamin A deficiency disorder, low birth weight and endemic fluorosis. So these are the main nutritional health diseases or nutritional problems. So these are the nutritional problems India is facing today. So what are the nutritional problems? Protein energy malnutrition, nutrition anemia, iron deficiency disorders, vitamin A deficiency disorder, low birth weight, endemic fluorosis. So now we are going to see about national programs in India. So what are the national nutritional programs India has? Let's see what are the programs. So it is Ministry of Rural Development Applied Nutrition Program. So the first one is Ministry of Rural Development Applied Nutrition Program. Ministry of Social Welfare Integrated Child Development Service Scheme, ICDS. Balwadi Nutritional Program, Special Nutrition Program. So these programs is coming under Ministry of Social Welfare. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, National Nutrition Anemia Prophylaxis Program, National Prophylaxis Program for Prevention of Blindness due to Vitamin A Deficiency, National Iron Deficiency Disorder Control Program. So these are coming under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Now the last program, Ministry of Education, Midday Meal School Program. So in school, the Midday Meal Program. So in schools, we will get the food, lunch, Midday Meal School Program. So that is also coming under Ministry of Education. So these are the nutritional programs that is implemented in India. So I hope everyone understood the nutritional programs. So this also may ask for a 10 mark or a 5 mark in exam. So now we are going to see about role of nurse in nutrition. So what is the role of nurse in nutrition? How nutrition is important to nursing? Let's see. So assess nutritional health needs. So we need to assess particularly the health needs of nutritional health needs of an individual and health education. So through you are assessing the nutritional status, you can able to give the health education to the patients about a balanced diet. If the patient is having diabetes mellitus, you need to advise on health education, what all the foods he need to skip, what all the foods he needs to take. So that is health education. Nutritional surveillance. So for doing the nutritional surveillance to find out malnutrition and the nutritional diseases, you are the role of nurse here to get the nutritional surveillance. Nutritional supplements. So through CHC and PHC, giving the supplements to adolescent girls, babies below 5 years and to pregnant women. National nutritional programs. To conduct national nutritional programs as a role, that is your role. And in-service education and training to the people, training to the staff around you, and in-service education. You are gaining more knowledge and community participation. So these are the role of nurse in nutrition. Yes. So these three are very important. Now we are continuing the other important questions. So the next one we are going to discuss is protein energy malnutrition. So what is protein energy malnutrition? First we will see the definition. So let's see what is protein energy malnutrition. So it is defined as a pathological condition arising from lack of dietary protein and energy in various options. So there is a deficiency in dietary proteins and energy. That condition is termed as protein energy malnutrition. So this is the definition. So now we are going to see about the types. So what are the main classification here? It is divided into 3 categories: kwashiorkor, marasmus as well as marasmic kwashiorkor. So 3 categories. Protein energy malnutrition is divided into or classified into 3 diseases, that is kwashiorkor, marasmus and marasmic kwashiorkor. So now we are moving to protein energy malnutrition. So it is divided into, that is kwashiorkor. So what is kwashiorkor? Marginal energy but insufficient protein intake. Here the energy protein production is there, but there is a deficiency in protein. So that is condition is termed as kwashiorkor. So what are the changes will be there? What is the clinical manifestation we can see in kwashiorkor? So hair changes, apathy, irritability, growth failure, poor growth, anemia, fatty liver, villus atrophy of small intestine, edema, dyspigmentation and dermatosis. So these are the signs and symptoms that is the person who is having Kwashiorkor experiencing. Now the second category is marasmus. So what is marasmus? So insufficient protein and energy intake. So both energy and protein intake is insufficient to meet the body needs. So this condition is termed as marasmus. So sunken eyes, thin and bony faces, ribs clearly visible through the skin, poor growth. So these are the symptoms here in the case of a marasmus. So protein energy malnutrition is divided into mainly three types of diseases: Kwashiorkor, marasmus as well as marasmic Kwashiorkor. So now we are moving to dietetics. So it's a 2-mark question. So what is the definition of dietetics? The science of applying nutritional principles to the planning and preparation of food and regulation of diet in relation to both health and disease. So it's nothing but the science of applying the nutritional principles. The principles that we are studying in the nutrition, we will apply into cooking and preparation of food. So while planning or preparing the food, we will apply the nutrition principles and regulation of diet in relation to both health and disease. So that is termed as dietetics. So nothing but we are applying the nutrition principles in planning and preparing the food and the regulation of diet in relation to health as well as disease. So that is the definition of dietetics. So it may ask for a 2-mark question. So that is also very important. So protein energy malnutrition is a 5-mark or either 10-mark question. I hope you understood. So stay back, we are going to discuss more important questions. So let's see. The next one is macro and micronutrients. So the classification is very important: micro, macronutrients. Let's see what is micro and macronutrients, what is the categories coming under that. So the first one is macronutrients, including carbohydrate, protein and fat. So if you macro elements means what? Macro. So much. Macro means more than. So macro elements here, macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, fat. Micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. So it is categorized into micronutrients. So this is the classification of macro and micro. Now going to detail discuss about first one, carbohydrates. So what is carbohydrates here? A biological compound containing carbon, hydrogen and oxygen that is important source of food and energy to your body. So it's a source. Carbohydrate is mainly composed of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen and is an important source for food and energy. Your body uses carbohydrates to make glucose, which is an important source of food and energy. So if you are having carbohydrates, if you are taking, your body will produce glucose from the carbohydrate for the energy. So that's the function of carbohydrates. So what are the main sources of carbohydrates? Let's see. So fruits, vegetables, bread, cereals and other grains, milk and milk products. So these are the main sources where we will get the carbohydrates. So carbohydrates containing carbon, oxygen as well as hydrogen. It is needed for the energy and carbohydrates will help to produce glucose. By that energy intake will be there. So this is carbohydrates. Now we are going to discuss about next one, fat. So what is fats? Fats are sources of energy found in food that helps the body to store and use vitamin. So fats is a form of energy that helps to store the vitamins. So why we need to store in our body, we need to store the vitamins. Who will help? Fat will help. Sources: egg, avocado, nuts and salmon. So these are the main sources of fat. So now we are going to protein. So another macro element is another macronutrient, that is what called protein. These are complex molecule made up of smaller units called amino acids. So protein is a complex unit. It's made up of some smaller units called amino acids. What are the sources? Fish, soya protein, almonds, milk, egg, chicken breast. So these are the main sources of protein. So protein we can get from egg, chicken, soya protein, fish, etc. So now we are going to discuss about the micronutrient vitamin. So vitamin is categorized into a micronutrient. What it is? It's an organic molecule needed in small amounts. So we need in small amount also, our body needs vitamins. So vitamins are needed to build and maintain our cells and release energy from macronutrients. So vitamins, why we need? To build and maintain our cells. So we need to maintain our cells, we need to build our cells in our body. We need vitamins as well as to release energy from macronutrients. So from the energy, from macronutrients, we need to release the energy. We need vitamins in our body. So the main sources are carrot, papaya, meat, spinach, egg and cheese. So these are the main sources of vitamin. So now the last one we are going to discuss is micronutrient minerals. So minerals is categorized into micronutrients. What is minerals? Let's discuss. So minerals are inorganic and found in food, help to regulate body function. So it's inorganic substances and found in food help to regulate the body functions. Important minerals are zinc, magnesium, calcium, iron, potassium, sodium, etc. Sources where we will get the minerals: salt, legumes, fruits, nuts and seeds. So these are the categories: macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients is coming fat, carbohydrate, protein, and micronutrients is vitamins and minerals. So now we are moving to next important question: therapeutic diet. It's a maybe a 5 mark or it's a 10 mark question. So focus, what is therapeutic diet? It's very important. Focus. So what is therapeutic diet? A therapeutic diet is a main plan that controls intake of certain foods or nutrients. So it's a meal plan we are making for the patient's disease condition. So it is created according to the patient's disease condition like diabetes mellitus, hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. So it's a meal plan that control the intake of certain food and nutrients. So while we need to control and we need to reduce some minerals and nutrients and to add some extra nutrients. So this is what we'll call therapeutic diet. It is a part of treatment of a medical condition and are normally prescribed by a dietitian. So it's a part of a treatment protocol and it is described by or prescribed by the dietitian. A therapeutic diet is usually a modification of regular diet. So what we that person had the regular diet, it's a modification. Therapeutic diet means modification of the regular diet. So this is the definition of therapeutic diet. So now we are going to deal about purpose. Why we need to do? What is the purpose of therapeutic diet? So to maintain good nutritional status, to correct nutritional deficiencies, to bring about changes in weight whenever necessary. So this is the purpose, to maintain the good nutritional status of that person, to correct the nutritional deficiency and to bring about changes in weight. So now we are going to discuss about advantages. So what are the advantages of using a therapeutic diet or planning a therapeutic diet? So it emphasizes on psychological and social needs those who are sick and well. So it is mainly giving importance to the people's psychological as well as social needs of that individual. And food preparation is simplified when the modification is based on the family pattern and number of items to be cooked is less. So the modification is based on the family pattern, then there is a chance that we can reduce the amount of food that is prepared, and it is also helping to reduce the number of items that is being prepared. So this is the therapeutic diet. So what is therapeutic diet? A therapeutic diet is a meal plan that controls the intake of certain food or nutrients. So that is the definition. Yes, it's very important. Don't forget while you are studying this. So now we are moving to methods of cooking. So what are the main methods of cooking? We will see what is the types of methods of cooking. Let's see: roasting, split roasting, oven roasting or pot roasting. So first category is what? Roasting. Baking, example cake, we are doing baking. And frying, shallow frying or deep frying. So that is also we will do roasting, baking, frying. Boiling, poaching, steaming, stewing, grilling, microwave cooking, pressure cooking. So these are the main methods of cooking the food. So what are the main methods of cooking foods? You know this, in your home, you are in your kitchen, you will prepare this kind of things. So what are the main things you will do? Roasting, baking, frying, boiling, poaching, steaming, stewing, grilling, microwave cooking and pressure cooking. So now we are moving to vitamin deficiency diseases and the symptoms. So let's see first vitamin A. So if vitamin A is the deficiency, what disease will be there? Loss of vision will be there and the symptom is poor vision. So vitamin A is affecting, if deficiency is affecting the eyes and it's affecting the vision. Next is vitamin B1. Beriberi, the disease is called beriberi and weak muscles. So what will happen? It will create a weakness inside the muscles. So due to lack of vitamin B1. Next, vitamin C, scurvy and bleeding gums. So there will be bleeding inside the gums and that tooth inside that gums will be bleeding. So that condition is called scurvy. That condition is called scurvy. And vitamin D, rickets. So soft and bent bones. So there is bones will be soft and easily fractured. Easily that person will get fractures. So that is the rickets. Calcium, bone and tooth decay. So lack of calcium will affect the bones of the body, weak bones and tooth decay. So tooth also will decay and the bones will be weak. And iodine deficiency. So iodine deficiency will lead to goiter, and swollen glands in the neck. So there will be swelling in the glands because it is affecting goiter. Iron deficiency will cause anemia, that is will lead to weakness. So these are the main vitamin deficiencies, vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So if it is vitamin, which vitamin is affecting which deficiency, which is the symptom. So this is also important. So now we are moving to another important question, that is baby friendly hospital initiative. Baby friendly hospital initiative. So what it is? Baby friendly hospital initiative. Let's discuss. So it has 10 major steps. What is the 10 major steps? You need to study this, very important. This 10 steps may be definitely come for your exam. What is the 10 steps? Let's discuss. Have a written breastfeeding policy that is routinely communicated to all healthcare staff. So in hospital there should be a written healthcare policy, and that policy should be conveyed to every staff that is working in that hospital. Train all healthcare staffs in skills necessary to implement this policy. To implement this policy, train all the workers that is working with you. Inform all pregnant women about the benefits and management of breastfeeding. So as a nurse, you need to inform about the importance of breastfeeding and the management of breastfeeding to the mother. And help mothers to initiate breastfeeding within 1/2 of the birth. So giving the delivery, after the delivery, within 1 hour, encourage the mothers to start the breastfeeding. Show mothers how to breastfeed and how to maintain lactation even if they should separated from their infant. So you need to show them how to give the breastfeeding, and you need to educate about them. Give newborn infants no food or drink other than breast milk unless medically indicated. So unless a doctor indicate, do not give any other foods or water to the baby, only give breastfeeding. Practice rooming. Allow mothers and infants to remain 24 hours a day. So what is practice rooming? Allow the mother and baby to be with each other 24 hours a day. Encourage breastfeeding on demand. So encourage the mother to give breastfeeding, continue breastfeeding up to 6 months. Give no artificial teat or pacifiers to breastfeeding infants. So no need to give any soothers to the breastfeeding infants. Foster the establishment of breastfeeding support group and refer mothers to them discharged from the hospitals or clinic. So while discharging, the mother is getting discharged from the hospital or clinic, foster them, give them the contact of the group that is supporting breastfeeding. So this is the initiatives by Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative. As a nurse, you need to study about this. So this is also very important, Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative. So this emphasizes the importance of breastfeeding to the infant. So as a nurse, you need to encourage the mother to give breastfeeding to the baby until 6 months of age. So now we are moving to another important question, food adulteration. So it is maybe a 2-mark question. So what we will see, food adulteration. Adulteration of food commonly defined as addition or subtraction of any substance to the food. So the natural composition of quality of food substance is affected. So intentionally adding or subtracting any content in that food, that is what called food adulteration. So it's an intentional act. It is made either subtracting a mineral or vitamin or adding an additional item to that food. So that is, it will destroy the natural composition and quality of food. So this is a made either unintentional or intentional, the acting of adding or subtracting an element in that particular food. So this is the definition of food adulteration. Now we will see colostrum. So it's also a 2-mark question, important question. So what is colostrum? Let's see. So colostrum is the first stage of breast milk. So after the delivery, the first breast milk that is coming, that is what called colostrum. So what is colostrum? Colostrum is the first stage of breast milk and it develops during pregnancy and lasts for several days after birth. So by the time of pregnancy, the colostrum develops and it lasts for several days after birth. Colostrum is yellow and thick in consistency or can appear clear and runny. So it is maybe either yellow in color and thick will be, or either it will be clear in color. So it's the first breast milk that is very important for the baby. So initiate after delivery, within 1 hour initiate the breastfeeding. So colostrum is very important. So now we are moving to another question, nutrition. So what is the definition of nutrition? It defined as the science of food and its relationship to health. So it's a science of food and the food relationship with the health, the relationship with the food and health. That is what called nutrition. It is a study of nutrients and process by which they are used in the body. So nutrition is nothing but the study of nutrients and how the body is using that nutrients. So that's the study known as nutrition. So that's the definition of nutrition. So in the first slide we had discussed, about dietetics and this is nutrition. So now we are moving to another important question, midday meal program. So midday meal program, what do you mean by that? Midday meal program is an initiative government of India aimed in improving nutritional status of school children, particularly in government and government aided schools. So where in government of India has planned this program to enhance the nutritional status of children, school children, particularly in government and government aided schools. Under the scheme, students are provided free, nutritious meals during school hours to encourage the school attendance, enhance learning outcome and address malnutrition. So, what is the program here? Under this program, the government is supplying free nutritious food to schools. In the lunch time, they are providing the school to encourage, for what? To encourage the school attendance. So, basically from the middle class people, they will send their children to the school. So, it will increase the school attendance, enhancing learning outcomes. So, it will give education to them and addresses malnutrition. So, it will reduce some types of malnutrition. The programs also supports local farmers and boost economy by sourcing the food from local supplies. So, the midday meal program uses the food that is collected from the local agriculture. So, from the agriculture field and from the local, they will collect the food that is needed for the midday meal program. It plays a pivotal role in promoting education and health. So, it is very important. Midday meal program is giving an important role in the health and education, especially in rural and economically disadvantaged areas. So, it is mainly focused on rural and disadvantaged area people. They will get that students, that children, school going children will get nutrition as well as school attendance and the education. So, basically more than school children, the farmers who is making locally, the farmers who is producing the food, they will also get the benefits through midday meal program. So, this is a Government of India conducting program. So, what is the objective? To provide free nutritious meal to school children in government and aided schools. So, that's the objective. So, giving free food to the government school children. And to improve nutrition, goal is to improve nutrition, increase school attendance and reducing the malnutrition. So, mainly three goals. What are the goals? Improve nutrition, increase school attendance and reduce the malnutrition. Target group, primarily children from economically disadvantaged background. So, who is the target of midday meal program? The children who is coming from a poor background. Impact, enhances health, learning and school performance. So, after this program, what is the impact there? So, enhancing the health, learning and school performance. Local support, benefiting local farmers by sourcing the food locally. Coverage, operates in both urban and rural areas across the India. So, this is the midday meal program. Yes, we are concluding today's section. So, we have discussed some important exam-oriented questions. So, study well. This question will definitely ask for the next upcoming exams. So, if you have understood, do follow EasyNurse for more videos. We will meet in the next sections with another exam-oriented topics. Till that, thank you.